First, I'm going to discuss about arrays. Arrays in C. It is a very important topic for examination point of view as well as interview point of view also. What is array? So array is a derived data type. Array is a derived data type. Array referred to as structured data type. Array referred to as a structured data type. It is a defined as finite ordered collection of homogeneous data. Array is defined as finite ordered collection of homogeneous data and stored in continuous memory locations. So here it is a derived data type. It is a homogeneous or similar data type elements. Those are stored in continuous memory locations. Or else array can be defined as finite ordered collection of homogeneous data stored in continuous memory locations. Here finite means data must be defined in one range. For example, 1 to 10. So there the range is specified. 1 is the lowest and 10 is the maximum. Similarly, finite means here data range must be defined. Ordered means data must be stored in continuous memory address. That is continuous memory address. That is successive memory location. Homogeneous means data must be similar data type. So here array can be defined as finite ordered collection of homogeneous data stored in continuous memory locations. So here the arrays can be used in different places, like to store list of employees, or to store some student names, to store marks of the students, to store list of numbers as well as this. So here array can be defined as definition. Array is a collection of homogeneous or similar data elements. Those are stored in successive memory locations. Successive memory locations. So array is a collection of homogeneous or similar data elements. Those are stored in successive, that means continuous memory locations. So array referred by specifying the array name followed by the one or more subscripts. So always array can be specified with the one or more subscripts. Here the number of subscripts determines the dimensionality of the array. So array is referred by specifying the name of the array and followed by the subscripts. If it is one dimensional array, it is having only one subscript. If it is two dimensional array, it is having two subscripts. And it is more multi-dimensional array, here it is having more than two subscripts. So number of subscripts determines the dimension of the array. So depends upon the number of subscripts used. Here array can be classified into either single dimensional array, double dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. So what is array? Array is a collection of homogeneous similar data elements. Those are stored in successive memory locations. So here first one is one dimensional array. In this one dimensional array, collection of homogeneous data elements are stored in m successive memory locations. So already we discussed that an array must be defined with array name and size. So here look this, here data type. So while declaring an array, first you need to specify what the kind of data type it is. So it is specifying the type of elements you are going to be stored in array. Next, name of the array. Next one is the size. So the size, total size capacity. So size indicates the maximum number of elements that can be stored inside the array. So whenever which is having only one subscript, it is called as a one dimensional array. Let us look this example. Here int x of 5. Int is the data type, x is the array name, 5 is the size of that array. So in one dimensional array it is having only one subscript. So let us look this example, int x of 5. Int x of 5. Here int is nothing but a data type, x is nothing but a name of the array, 5 is nothing but the size. So the memory location, how it can be, int occupies how many bytes? 2 bytes. So here, what is the size of this array? 5. So that means it is going to occupy total 10 bytes. So always in array, in C language, array index starts from the 0 location. Start from the 0 location. So here we have x of 5, that means 5 locations. That is x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, x of 4. That is 4, total 5 locations. But array can be starts with index with the 0 only. So here each memory location size is 2 bytes. Why? Because here x is the type of the data type is int. So int x. So here the starting location is 1000. It is the address. So after that next address is 1002. Why it is 1002? So here the starting address is 1000. The next location, successive memory location must be with the 2 bytes. Why? Because our array is in the form of integer only. So total here, while representing the array, total size is in the form of what kind of data type you are going to use. So here 0 index element is x of 0, first index element is x of 1, the last index element is x of 4, x of 4. So here whenever you are representing any array, it is going to be specified in this way. So how you are going to initialize the single dimensional array? Already whenever you are defining any array which is having the data type, array name and the size. So here for initializing you need to specify the list of values. So all these list of values can be separated by the comma. Here int k of 5 that equal to 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. All these 5 elements. Here we define the array size as 5. So here all the elements can be stored in successive locations 11, 22, 33, 44 and 55. So that is the initialization of array. So while initializing the array, sometimes we may omit the size. In previous example we given int k of 5, but here we are not mentioned the size. So at the time compiler allocates the sufficient amount of memory for all initialized values. So here how many values you have? The 5 values, but compiler allocates the memory for those 5 even though you are not specifying the size. Sometimes while initializing the elements by the size, so even the size can be defined but the initialization values are less than the size. So at that time how the compiler is going to allocate? Let us look this example. Int k of 5 equal to 11 comma 22. Our array size is 5 here, but how many elements we have here? 2 elements. So here all these 2 elements can be stored in successive memory locations. The remaining 3 locations can be initialized with the zeros by the compiler. So here, why if you initialize the size, no problem. If you are not initialized the size, then automatically compiler recognize that. So then the size of the array is based on the number of initialized elements. Sometimes if you may initialize the size, but the number of initialized elements are less. So at that time, so the remaining elements can be filled by the zeros by the compiler. So initialization of single dimensional array. So int previous example only int x equal to 5, that is array elements are. So for reading these elements, here I have multiple number of elements, more than one. So use for loop for I equal to 0. 0 is the starting index, 4 is the last index of the array. So printf this. So whenever we are going to initialize the arrays, here it is in the form of the initialize in this way. So how we are going to take 5 values from the user and store them in array and print the same. So here this is the example for reading of the values from the keyboard and store into the array. So for 5 values if you use for loop in the form of 0 less than I less than 5, scanf percentage value of 5. So first time it is value of 0, next time is value of 1, value of 2 and so on. For displaying the values also the same for loop. Instead of scanf, simply you are writing printf. That is the only thing. So here how it can be read as well as print the values. Next one is double dimensional array. In double dimensional array, array can be defined as array of arrays. In this, it can be organized as matrices, which can be represented as the collection of rows and columns. So in this one, we have 2 subscripts. In one dimensional array, we have only one subscript. So let us look this. Data type, array name, size 1, size 2. So here these are the 2 subscripts. Size 1 represent the rows Size 2 represent the columns. Size 2 represent the columns. The data type is the what kind of data you are going to be stored in the array. It is going to be represented by this. The array name. So array name is nothing but the name of the array. The size 1 here is the row size, the number of rows in array. Size 2 is nothing but a number of columns in that array. So it is going to be specified with this kind of specification. Let us look this int k of 3 or 4. So here int is nothing but the data type. K is nothing but the name of the array. We given the name this array as k. 3 is nothing but a number of rows. Number of rows. This is nothing but this is number of rows. K of 3 is number of rows. And this is k of 4, number of columns. Number of columns in this array. So while representing any array here, you need to be double dimensional array. It must have two subscripts followed by the array name. So and the type of the data. So here the first subscript indicates the number of rows, subsequent subscript indicates the number of columns. So let us look this two-dimensional array declaration. As usual, in previous example we used only one subscript. Here two subscripts we are using. For that one we had to use for one for loop for rows, other for loop for columns only. That is the specification. One for rows, other one is meant for the columns only. Let's look this. And reading a data from double dimension and printing it. How? So in previous example we used only one for loop with for scanf statement, but here two for loops, for I equal to 0 for rows, for j equal to 0 for the columns. Similarly scanf. Same way printing also. Same way printing also. It is the double dimensional array. So multi-dimensional arrays. In multi-dimensional arrays, here are more dimensions. So here it is having more than 2 dimensions. So here the size can be defined with the multiple dimensions. Let us look this data type, array name, subscript 1, subscript 2 with size, and so on. And so here let us look this example int k of 2, 3, 4. So here whenever you are representing any array like this, always here it is going to represent in the form of multiple dimensions. Multiple dimensions. Whenever multiple dimensions we are going to be mentioned, this is here, each subscript is going to represent the corresponding elements. So it is about multi-dimensional array. It is simple introduction about arrays. Please go through the carefully. If you have any doubts, feel free, contact me. Thank you.